What it do, what it do, what it do. It is your boy BDammone in the house, and we are at a brand new location. We are with Level Up Productions. So get used to this layout because this is the new setup. This is the new setup, and there are several new things. As you heard, the new intro music produced by a San Antonio-based producer from Judson High School, Trey Wave. So thank you, Trey, for the new sound of the show. This is episode 101. We are keeping it rolling. It's still along the wire. I'm still BDammone, and you're still rocking with the best and the number one podcast for San Antonio High School football. We thank you for joining us, and I say us. As you can see, there is another body here with me, and we are going to get him introduced in just a moment. So big things, new things, and a lot of positivity and a lot of growth coming from along the wire for the San Antonio high school football scene, definitely. So let me get to rolling off some of these new things. As you can see, I'm going to go like this. the brand new visuals. We now have a sports ticker. We will keep you updated on scores from the previous week, or give you upcoming games that are going to be for the weekend. And you're also going to see little notes and little tidbits or little morsels of information that I might not say to you, but if you read it at the bottom of the screen, it'll give you some food for thought. So you're definitely going to want to pay attention to what goes across the little ticker. Man, so nothing but growth. As I said, we are now with Level Up Productions. I want to shout out Joe Garcia. He's been an incredible person, and I just keep getting blessed by running into great people and being able to have that discernment on who I bring this product with. Actually, I was found in this situation, so thankfully God's watching out for me and for the podcast. So I just want to give him a shout out and his blessings. And anybody who is looking at starting up a podcast, you need to get with Level Up Productions. Check them out at levelupproductionssa.com, and please give it a look. I get approached so many times on how do you start up a podcast? What do you need to do? You need to go to levelupproductionssa.com. So that's gonna be my answer from now on if anybody asks me that. So like I said, we have a brand new layout, a sports ticker. And we're gonna start having a new layout or a new format for our segments. You're gonna be seeing them broken down more and more direct as we have some different capabilities dealing with the production side. So I'm gonna be using all the tools that Level Up Productions allows. So that's what's gonna be going on. We're gonna be having different and new segments. When I say that, different topics. We are going to be getting into some of the words and the things that happen around the city that maybe I might not have been able to touch on, or due to COVID I wasn't able to talk about, because we got to make sure that we're right and that we're in compliance before we get going. So if you hear anything, then we may be talking about it. That's going on. If you look behind me and over my head, you will see that we have also gotten a brand new logo, and it's dope. That was designed by Collision, who we will be in contact with and be taking a call from in a little bit. He's our one stop for everything graphics. He made the along the wire apparel logo, and now with the addition of the football design over it. I'm gonna take a look back. This might not look good on film, but
sweet, looks sweet.
Right. So, new logo, new music, new production company, new layout. Like I said, more, and new and positive. So, theme song, Treywave, Judson High School, had to keep it San Antonio. Now, for the gentleman to my right here, like I said, God's been blessing me and he keeps blessing me. The first person in San Antonio to reach out to me was this man here to my right. At Running of the Savages 2, hey, would you like to cover this event? And he's looked out for me ever since. I'd like to introduce you to the newest member of Along the Wire, Hilario Gomez, head coach of South Texas Sting 7-on-7 squad, one of the originators, the originator of the 7-on-7 football scene here in San Antonio, Texas. Thank you for accepting being a part of the Along the Wire crew. And I thank you for your presence, for your existence, man. You know, I can't ever not give you your flowers because this has been one of the people that's been 100% genuine with me since getting into the San Antonio high school football scene. I couldn't be at whatever level people say that I'm at without this man right here as well. So thank you for being a part of the squad, and Coach Gomez, everybody, Coach Gomez.
Thanks for considering me, man. It's a great opportunity, especially when we discussed it over the phone. I was like, you know what, I think I can do that on my time off. You know, when I got some free time to go check out some games. I'm already familiar with a bunch of these kids do the 7-on-7, so it makes it a lot easier to communicate with them, maybe get a little more information out of them than it would for someone who wasn't familiar with them.
Right.
You know, so I'm glad that I could bring that ability to Along the Wire. And I think that between both of us, it's going to make things a lot better around here for these boys around San Antonio area.
Oh, definitely. And one of the things that I love is that I can now have a coach's perspective on what's being seen out there, because a lot of times whenever you look or you're trying to figure something out, it's like, okay, I know I see it like this, but what do you think about this situation? And when it comes to like Coach was saying, to looking at games, if I can't make that game and we get together and we see, okay, well, I can go to this game, I can go to that game, well, then we can expand our audience and viewing and just be more places. Yeah, more of a presence here in San Antonio. And there isn't anyone else that I had on my list. So I would have been by myself right here again. So,
I appreciate the opportunity, man.
And I definitely appreciate you accepting it. And with that being said, as we all know, football is king in Texas. But the biggest king of the past season, and who will continue to be a king to us, is Bryce Wisdom. As you see the shirts here, as I say, it's new everything, but there's some things that are always going to stay the same, and we will continue to support the Wisdom family and be Bryce strong here at Along the Wire. And I haven't actually gotten to talk about this on air with Along the Wire, but Bryce Wisdom went on to glory, as is the best way to put it, is in no more pain, and is now a heavenly being, and no longer here present with us in the physical, but now he's everywhere, and he's able to see all the love that this city, that this state, and that many people are giving him around the nation are giving him. So we definitely want to give our shout out and support to the entire Wisdom family. You have anything you want to add to that?
No, he did leave his presence, like I was mentioning, around the nation. I mean, you had NFL players, endorsing it. You had, your community endorsing it. He really made a big impact. You had people that didn't even know the kid. They were all over social media. He touched so many hearts. Gave everybody so many inspiration. To be inspired by just the way he was a fighter. So
Right.
So yeah, man, he did leave a presence.
Right. So as I said, a lot of new stuff, but there's some things that will not change, and this podcast will continue to support the Wisdom family and be Bryce strong. That is the end of this segment, and we will be coming right back to you in just a moment. Hey, what it do is BDammone. In this segment, we have got our graphics guru, Collision, coming in live from Houston, Texas. Hey, Collision, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, BDammone? How you doing?
Good, man. Just kicking off the new era of the podcast here. So glad to have you on so that people can get to know and see the face of the artist who's going to be putting together edits for us. I gave a little bit of a brief insight of what you will be doing for Along the Wire and for the Texas high school football community. But just want to get your input on things that you would like to do and the things that you would like to bring to some of the players here in Texas high school football.
Okay, yeah. Definitely want to, do better graphics. I've been seeing a lot of, designs going on. And I want to make sure, just get these kids some really nice designs, photos, people, all the players, make them look like they're really, really good players, and give them some good graphics. I've been doing it for a while, 20 years or more.
Right, exactly.
Actually been an artist my whole life, so,
Yeah.
photography and design professionally, like 20 years.
Right. So one of the things that I know that you definitely bring is that photo side of the realism. I know you can do all the high def graphics, but one of the things that I gotta quit saying that Collision is best at is if he's able to get a really good photos of you, or if you want to set up time to go take photos with Collision. He is based out of Houston, but that doesn't stop him from working with people here in San Antonio. As you can see, we have the graphics going on the side, and he's worked with Donovan Buddha Drayton here in San Antonio, and he did his commitment edit as well as JD Coffee. So he can reach you anywhere in Texas. Just get him the photos, and he will turn that product back around to you and have you amazed. I've worked with Josh with Collision. I keep saying that, man. I worked with Collision because he's my fam, so I end up saying his name. Long time, and as you can see, some of the artists that he's worked with, it's not anything small that I'm trying to bring to the San Antonio high school football community, but it's a sense of professionalism and some high end work. So he's going to be doing everything from player edits to your top 10, top 3, final 5 schools, to your commitment graphics, as well as commitment videos. If you want to set up something, he does video work as well. Website design. I put up a tweet a couple weeks ago from Michael 5000 Watts from the Swisher House endorsing Collision's work. So I mean, when he does it, and what Along the Wire is trying to do is bring everybody up and have a certain level of quality that is out there for your edits. What else, or what's some other ideas that you've kicked around that we've spoken about that you can tell the public about, Collision?
As far as with the sports,
with the photos.
Oh, like I can, I basically, like, I've been trying to take The way I do photography is really nice and like flashy. You know, it's really good for sports as well. So, you know, I know how to cut people out and put them anywhere and put them in, you know, any way you want them to look, any kind of design. I actually know some way to make like 3D graphics now with the pictures. So you'll see like the player in one spot and in the background, you know, like zooming in a little bit to where it actually looks a little 3D. So I'm really looking forward to working with these kids and, you know, getting some different types of looks. Like if you look at the rap, like all the stuff I've done with rap, we do a lot of motion covers now, you know, so that's probably something new that I don't really see a lot of. I see a lot of just the 2D where it's flat. You know,
Right.
not a lot. So things like that I want to bring in, taking real good professional pictures, you know, getting with these kids and getting them in the studio or out in the field. You know, my studio is mobile, so I can go anywhere with my lights and my camera. So.
Right.
And you don't have to really worry about the social distancing because, you know, I have my mask, I have my camera, you know, I don't have to be close to you. You know, I can be far from you.
So definitely keeping up with the COVID guidelines.
There we go.
And keeping things safe. Can you tell us a little bit about your photo company that you have?
I have also a photography company that's separate from all the rap stuff. So there's Payeras Photography. If you want to look, I have two actual photography pages. One is towards photography that is, you know, hip hop, rap, you know, all the flashiness. And then I also have stuff that's for family photography. I work with companies, like a lot of restaurants now. Due to COVID, you know, I reached out to a lot of restaurants in the area, and we're just trying to get people, you know, nice photos, and you know, everything's moving towards the internet and, you know, social media, and a lot of people, you know, are realizing the internet is stronger than just, you know, driving around.
Yeah.
So, you know, getting images for people that really need them.
So with the addition of Collision, as he's done some work here along the wires, now you're one-stop shop for whatever you may need. So if you want to get anything done edit-wise, then you can contact myself or Collision himself at Collision Magic is your Twitter handle and your Instagram, correct?
Yeah, Collision Magic. It's a normal spelling, COLLISIONMAGIC, and you can find that on any social media platform.
All right, man. Hey, thank you so much for your time. Is there any last words you have, and then I'll plug you one more time, and we'll let you go about your day, man. I appreciate it.
Last words, you know, check me out. Like I said, I have Collision Magic. I have Payeras Photography. It's at PAYERAS.PHOTOGRAPHY photography.
Right.
You know, that's also, I have, my website is PayerasPhotography.com, and I'm working on collisionmagic.com, and that's coming soon.
Right. And if y'all were at the End Zone 7-on-7 tournament in the Woodlands, then you've already seen Collision, as he did some stuff with teams in the area, Elite House, and he did some photos of some very big 7-on-7 squads, Flex and South Florida Express, that were all at that tournament. So he's already been out there, and he's getting inundated in the culture. But if you need anything, if you need edits, if you need announcements, if you need videos, if you need photos taken, you can reach out to me or directly to Collision, and Along the Wire is your one-stop shop for everything that you need when it comes to editing and film. And that's what we're going to continue to do, and we're going to continue to bring the best for San Antonio high school football and for Texas high school football, period. Hey, man, thank you so much for your time, and we'll let you enjoy your weekend, man.
Definitely. Thanks for having me. You too.
All right, no problem. We'll be working for sure.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
All right, take it easy. All right. So we actually get to have some high school football, and it kicked off last night. The biggest team in the San Antonio area that had a game last night was Cornerstone, and they took on mighty Calallen. But what we want to do is take our time right now and give a moment of silence for number 80, Gabe Cooley, who tragically lost his life in a ridiculous attack. And we want to take our time to give respect to the Calallen community and give respect to his memory. So we're going to take a moment of silence right now. Rest in peace, Gabe Cooley. All right, so with that being said, unfortunately with the circumstances and fortunately we were able to have football, and the team had to compete under those circumstances. But as we all know, tragedy can be one of the greatest motivators. So much love and much support to Calallen as they continue their season. But they began it starting off with, I think, was a really good matchup just in terms of seeing where these schools are at. And I know a lot of times that whenever you get a private school like Cornerstone and a public school like Calallen, it could be that, okay, this is a matchup. Let's see what types of programs are better. So, I mean, when you have one that is as notary as Cornerstone, and you know they got Lucas Coley, they got Kai, they got Allen, they've got Mizell Miller, they've got Harris, they've got Esteban. You know, you can name off the players they have, but you know Calallen brings that tradition and that history, rich history, being one of the best programs ever in Texas. So they got to clash, and it was a really good game. The final score of the game was Cornerstone 24, Calallen 20. So congratulations to the Warriors. We're going to talk about some of the things that we saw in that game. One of the biggest takeaways that I got from it was I had to look at it and realize it was a first game.
Oh, most definitely.
So there was a little bit of holding on some plays that I don't believe in the future that there will be holding calls on. And also, I saw an offense in Cornerstone that was still trying to find itself. I saw more singular-looking plays than I saw like an idea or strategy. Would you say that that's...
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I did see where Cornerstone at times looked a little more polished than Calallen.
Mm-hmm.
But I also saw that at times, you know, Calallen dropped back and were playing the receivers where it kind of limited Lucas on throwing it, but it's kind of a pick your poison type of thing.
Right.
All right, if you're going to shut down our receivers and Lucas, all right, I'm going to run. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you're going to shut down the run, I'm going to take what you give me on the pass. So I think with that being said, a lot of it too is, you know, the guys you just named off. A lot of those guys have been playing with each other since they were, you know, 7 years old,
right.
8 years
right.
old, you know, back with the Outlaws. So I think the addition of Allen and the addition of Mizell, a lot of that, it just builds more confidence within that group, right?
Mm-hmm.
So say for instance, at practice now, you have these guys who've been playing with each other since they were young, and now that confidence, that swagger, it feeds off onto these other football players that weren't part of that group, you know,
right.
if that makes sense.
Right.
And I think in the situation when they played against Calallen, what it was is these guys had confidence in each other, and it was like, you know what, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it kind of attitude. You know,
right.
We're just going to keep plugging away and let that big play happen. And hats off to Cornerstone. I think them preparing conditioning-wise, I think that's where you saw the difference late into the game that Cornerstone was well conditioned, and Calallen, you can see where they kind of maybe started late and didn't get the same strength and conditioning going.
Right.
So I think Cornerstone capitalized on that. and they played a huge role.
Just a quick yes or no. Do you think that early preparation, is that going to ever level out at some point? Or is that going to be an advantage throughout the season?
It could be an advantage off the season, I think.
Okay.
Because it takes you four to, I know it was a yes or no question.
Right.
It takes you at least 4 weeks, 5 weeks to get in some decent kind of shape.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And you got to get used to hitting again, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like you said it was pick your poison. And Cornerstone has some poison to give out.
Sure.
So, the first touchdown of the game, Lucas Coley scrambles on a broken play for 74 yards, really showing that athletic ability that Arkansas loved and made the offer, and now he's committed to go to Arkansas. Really broke away on that play and was able to get up the sideline and show he was elusive. And then he was also able to show his arm off with his pass to Jalen Gardner, a huge sophomore, by the way, who I think is going to be an issue for a lot of teams in the city coming up for the next few years. So if they couldn't stop his run, he had 2 touchdowns for 200 yards.
I believe so. It was like 201 yards, something like that.
And threw for another, but they always had that big play threat that you felt it was going to happen at any time. And then Calallen also had their plays, man. And I tweeted out, they play all 3 phases of the game, because their special teams was nice. They had maybe 3 really good returns that put them in really good position. They just weren't able to capitalize on that Cornerstone defense. And props to the Cornerstone defense, because it was a few times they were up by 3 or 4 in the second half, and that defense held.
Oh yeah.
The linebackers, I really like that linebacking core. Number 33 and 32, I have a name, Matt Baker, down, and I'm gonna learn everybody's names. As we watch these games, we aren't just all locked in and know everybody. But Matt Baker, Alan Catacheo, just were everywhere.
Oh yeah, Allen was a huge difference maker in that game. Anticipated the ball very well.
Mm-hmm.
Met the runner in the hole.
Fearless.
That kid, yes, really fearless. Yes,
fearless.
That kid, he real football IQ. You know what I mean? That's a high IQ right there.
Mm-hmm. And he also did it on special teams, because it was one of those plays on special teams in which he came up from the back and tackled somebody who probably would have scored. Because they had a huge cavalcade of players just leading them on the way, but then Allen comes up and he makes the tackle. So when you got somebody who's a dog like that, is not giving up on plays, that's the type of things you get, because if you don't make that play, you only won the game by 4 points. So every play matters, and you got to keep your head in the game.
And that's what I'm saying. I think these guys made a difference for their team in general. The late additions of Mizell and Allen just makes that core of boys who've been playing together for so long.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're not going to give up for each other. You know what I mean? And I think that's the kind of attitude they had last night.
Right.
I think it really rubbed off on a lot of people.
So that game, 24-20, congratulations on your victory, Cornerstone. Now, as many people know, this is the 100th year anniversary of the UIL, and they've allowed, also given the circumstances of COVID and the pandemic going on, for streaming. So we're going to switch gears for just a second. How was your streaming experience watching the games that you looked at, and which games did you bounce back and forth from?
So I started off with the Cornerstone game,
mm-hmm.
and then after a while, have Andrew Body. He used to play with us on 7-on-17. I started checking him out with Miller,
right?
And he started off on fire as well.
Did they score 80 points again?
Almost. Andrew, man, he couldn't miss a target. I mean, he started off really strong, and then after a while, I think it was Toulouse Midway.
Right.
They ended up making a few adjustments, but they really couldn't stay with that Miller offense. They were spreading out 4 every time, man. Just having Andrew lead it downfield. And then I saw a little bit of a Bernie game.
Okay.
Galloway did a good job out there.
Rashawn, yeah.
He did a hell of a job out there leading. I think he had thrown for like 2 touchdowns.
And forgive me for that. I didn't even get to see a second of that game.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get to see it, but I was hearing about it on the Miller game as they were keeping up with the scores from across the state. And like you said, you caught some of that Miller game. The second I caught the Miller game, their backup quarterback ran for like a 50-yard touchdown or something like that. Yes. And he looked quick.
Yeah.
He looked quick.
He's young.
Number 15, I think I think it was number 15.
Yeah. I think Toledo Midway kind of threw in the towel after a while. Mm-hmm. They started off strong in the beginning of the game. It looks like it was going to be a competitive game, but once Body got rolling, man, it was over.
Because the first score that I heard from that game was 35-7 or 34-7 at halftime, and I was like, okay. Yeah. I was like, Andrew's doing his thing, I guess.
Yes.
So overall, the streaming experience for me was good. I got to say, my wife walked in the room while I'm watching the game, and she was like, "This is on TV now?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It was clear. I was watching the Cornerstone game, and props to Calallen's audiovisual team because it ran fluidly. I mean, it had its little skips at first, but it wasn't like it was a freeze and you missed out on plays or you had to ask what happened for half a drive. It was nothing like that. It was very crisp and smooth. And then it was all on YouTube. And then when I went to the Miller game,
I think that the Miller game streaming was probably the best out of all.
Right. It was
Real Productions did a hell of a job.
Right.
I'm familiar with them. I'm sure you're familiar with them. We saw them out in San Antonio.
Christian. Rio Sports.
Yeah, 7-on-7 tournament. I like that they actually gave us playbacks.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it was almost like you're watching it on a real TV.
Yeah.
So I would say like an NFL game. So you were watching the game, and then whenever there would be a nice play, they would actually play it back.
Exactly.
Unlike the Calallen game, you wouldn't be able to see any replays.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was one of the best thing that I could say. And you're absolutely right, because when I went from the Calallen game, which was good, and I switched over to the Rio Sports, you could see just the texture and the presentation of everything, and they have it down.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They've got it down. So I gotta say, if I'm gonna nitpick, I'll say it was a 9. I'll say it was a 9. But it was a good experience.
Oh, for sure.
And honestly, I could see I still had that itch to get out there and be on the sidelines. I can't say I didn't, but for what it was, I was fine with it. It really made me want to be like, okay, well, I can flip through game to game to game to game.
I was just going to say that it's like it has its pros and cons.
Yes.
So, it's cool to be at home where I can flip through 4 or 5 games if I wanted to, and be able to look at some of these kids and see what they can really do.
Right.
And then it also gives you an advantage when you can be in person where I can actually see how these kids are reacting. Yes. You can see emotion.
Yeah.
You can see what they're saying on the sideline, maybe to their teammates.
Right.
Just, the whole, I guess, being in their presence, seeing how they carry themselves.
Exactly.
So there is the pros and cons to it, but I think I like it more where you can visualize 5 to 6 games. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So overall, I'd say the experience was a 9. I think it's a very good thing, and I think as long as we're in this COVID society, this is something that should be considered. And of course, it's going to come down to money, and I'm not going to get off into that. But as far as just safety goes, period, and having the options, when you have more options, you have more possibilities. And I think that's how the UIL should look at it, because I think if everybody has the experience that I had and that you had, and that understanding, we had the same thoughts and we weren't even looking at some of the same games. I think it's nothing but positives. I haven't seen any backlash on, oh my God, this streaming's been terrible. Because I went through and looked, but I hadn't had any complaints. So I think that's something that the UIL should really consider in lifting that streaming ban, period. So once again, congratulations to Cornerstone, led by Lucas Coley, and his 3 total touchdowns contributed. And shout outs to the Cornerstone defense and holding that lead and holding Calallen to 20 points. It's not often that you get a team that runs that offense that oh man, and when they had the play figured out just about Cornerstone, their linebackers got in those holes. Those safeties coming down shot those holes. And it was nice to see that, when you're going up against an offense like that, if you miss your assignment or if you get lost on defense, that back's gone, or that quarterback's going to keep it, and he's gone. But they weren't really fooled, or like there weren't any plays that were like, oh man, y'all were just completely off on that one.
No, I think the defense, especially, I mean, you have some experienced personnel out there,
right?
You got Allen, like we mentioned earlier. You have Amani, like you mentioned. You have the other Gilry.
Yeah.
So all them kids, even on the 7-on-7 circuit, they played against some top-notch talent throughout the summer, throughout this quarantine, and then all it does is transition over to the football field on 11-on-11. But with that being said, you got to give a lot of props out to them coaches, man. Them coaches have been doing a hell of a job.
Yes.
I mean, the last couple of years, ever since Booty had left, this new coaching staff has done a tremendous job of preparation with these boys, laying out a game plan. And not to mention, they've brought in some kids with some high football IQ, so it makes your job easier as a coach.
Exactly.
So if you can execute what I'm telling you, and then not only that, anticipate what's going on the field before it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes
the coach
easier. Yeah, it makes life a lot easier, But hats off to them coaches. Them coaches did a hell of a job. Of course, Calallen has a rich tradition. They have a good coaching staff themselves. But I think, like I said, the strength and conditioning portion kicked in for Cornerstone the last few quarters, and that was the difference in the game.
Awesome. So that's all I got for that.
Oh, for sure.
You good?
I'm good.
All right, so we are going to end this segment right now, and we will be right back. All right, so as this episode, as you see, is new beginnings, we have new endings, and this is the new ending process as we are about to end the show. But like I gave Coach Gomez his roses once again, I have to let everybody know who has been a part of me being here on this scene. Firstly, my wife for her support, EJ Holland, who is now with Rivals, started me off at Horns 24/7. Shout out to Mike Roach, Clint Buckley, and to Nick Harris, and to City Preps here in San Antonio. I want to give a shout out to Fan Perspective, Steven at Fan Perspective. Expect us to be working together as well. And some of my motivations, Jay Black and the battle rap scene. Who else? Matt Thomas and Lance Zerline in Houston on iHeartRadio and at the NFL Network. Also, I don't want to miss anybody. And I'm missing them. Adam Clanton out in Houston as well. And Luke Thomas and Ariel Hawani in MMA. Like I said, those are the guys who got me into the idea of doing this and who have helped me along the way. And so as I ascend and do anything positive, I'm always going to give back to those who gave to me in what little ways or major ways that they have. So thank everybody who's been a part of this situation. And Treywave, if we can get the song playing real quick. Treywave from Judson, my family, for blessing us with these sounds. that is the new theme song for Along the Wire. So when you hear this, you know it's Along the Wire. As a matter of fact, when I pull up to stadiums, I might just play this.
There you go. Because Treyway did another one.
Exactly. Treyway did another one. And so, thank you for the song, Trey. And next week, you can expect new topics.
Oh, for sure.
There's some lists being made, and I got to throw my list out there. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about next week's games.
Week 2, baby.
I'm
Excited.
appreciative of us having games to talk about.
For sure.
Because if you remember, I put a poll out there that said, how confident are you that there's going to be a season?
Mm-hmm.
And I put that 0% out there for a reason,
yeah.
Because that was a reality. And so the fact that I hope that everybody's staying healthy, make sure you are taking the guideline precautions very seriously. If you are not, then you are a part of the problem. It is not hard to maintain 6 feet from somebody else that's in a group that you did not come with. That's pretty simple.
Yeah.
That's pretty simple. Keep your hand sanitizer on you. If you're sick, watch the games from home, because that was another thought that I had. I'm glad that if I was under the weather, I'm not putting anybody else at risk, and this game is in 1080.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. All right, so we're not going to keep going. Coach Gomez,
Thanks
I can't wait to have you back on and to have you on the team. I'm so thankful. I can't say that enough. So y'all can hit him up with some of the questions, too. What's your Twitter handle they can reach you at?
They can hit me at the SA Sting. It's actually at STX707.
At STX707 for Coach Gomez. And we got a lot to talk about. Even we didn't even touch on 707. So there's going to be topics, and there's been so much stuff going on, and as much stuff as we can talk about and that we're privy to information, we'll talk about what we can talk about, and that's what this podcast is going to continue to bring you and be the best. We're going to have player interviews. We're going to have interviews with coaches, and we're going to have people here in studio. It's going to be more. Once again, shout out to Level Up Productions. Go to levelupproductionssa.com. And lastly, never forgotten, he is my homeboy and one of my best friends, Thin Line Works, and the super producer. Love you, man. Love you always. And that has been episode 101 of Along the Wire and the new digs. And we're getting ready to take over Texas. We got San Antonio. We're going to keep San Antonio. But let's go. Javi Cardenas at UTSA Rivals. Can't forget Javi. Thank you, man. Hook 'em, birds up, we're out.